Hey bro, you saved Princess Peach, huh? So proud of you. But enough of that. Get this, bro. I came up with a new game. I call it Balloon World. Balloon World is a game where you can search for balloons hidden by people all over the world. Oh, you should know that if you play, your high score, nickname, and profile icon will show up in other people's games. You want to connect to the network and play Balloon World? We'll save that for another time. That would mean to press that button. Well, I guess we're playing Balloon World now. Alright, let's begin. First, we'll move to the starting point. You play Balloon World by hiding and seeking balloons. First, I'll show you Find It. Try to find the balloon I hid. You'll have 30 seconds to find the balloon and pop it. Once you leave the starting arch, your Find It will begin. Where could it ever be? I can't find it anywhere! I did it. Nice work, bro. Here, take these 50 coins as a reward. Oh, you get a little time bonus too. That's an extra 65 coins, just one too many. This time I hid the balloon, but in the real thing, players from all over the world will hide balloons. Oh, and also, when you're playing Find It for real, I'll need a few coins from you. Sorry. And did you notice for each 3 coins you collect that you get 1 second added to the time limit for that round? It works that way in both Find It and Hide It, so it's always good to remember. Okay, let's try Hide It. You'll be the one to hide the balloon in Hide It, bro, and players all over the world will look for it. You'll get coins for each player who plays until someone finds and pops the balloon. Neat, right? The time limit is 30 seconds, and good luck hiding your balloon. How long you take to hide your balloon will affect how long people will have to look for it. You can take your time and hide it far away, or quickly hide it nearby. Use your time wisely. Once you leave the starting area, Balloon World Hide It will start. Alright, so there's a lot of really great locations that we can hide the balloon in these worlds. We'll be going more in detail in a future episode. But as for right now, I think we have a pretty good starting place right here, at this exact spot. We're not gonna budge. This is the perfect location that will get you all of the coins in Luigi's Balloon World, and I may or may not be being sarcastic right now. And also, if you're actually like on my Switch friends list and you notice the profile is a little different, that's because this is a different save file. I think that's enough time, right? Want to hide the balloon here? This is such a stupid spot. I hope you like Balloon World, bro. I think it's a blast either way you play it. And maybe you'll earn yourself a ton of coins if you get really good at Find It and Hide It. Okay, you want to play Find It or try to find everyone's balloons? We're going to save this for a little bit later.
One eternity later.
Way to go, bro. You picked a really good hiding spot. Now, I love that Luigi says that because either he's being serious and you really did pick a good hiding spot, or he's being sarcastic like, nice one, bro. You picked a really good hiding spot. Alright, so the rest of this video is going to be done with the magic of post-commentary. And basically what we'll be doing is that we're going to be demonstrating one of my personal favorite spots is going to be to hide a balloon in every world. I forgot about the Kirby balloon right there. We're going to be demonstrating one of my personal favorite spots to hide a balloon, and then we'll be showcasing a highlight of some balloons that I found that were pretty interesting, whether they're pretty common locations that people hide them in, or they're pretty interesting ones too. It's going to be a pretty fun time all around. We're not going to try to spend too much time in every kingdom though, because we do have a lot of kingdoms to go through, and as you can probably tell by the length of this video, yeah, it definitely does take a little while to go through every world no matter how many balloons you capture. So going into the history of Luigi's Balloon World itself for a moment, this was not a feature that was available in the game when it launched. When Mario Odyssey launched a couple of months later, they introduced Luigi's Balloon World through Nintendo Direct as a free update. And it's pretty interesting because this game didn't really get a whole lot of free updates. Because, like, I don't actually know what the reason was, but you would think that with Mario, it'd be like one of the bigger games that would have free updates throughout the course of its lifespan to keep it going and things like that. Or even have like paid DLC or for new kingdoms and stuff. But no, this is like really one of the only bigger main features that are added to the game after launch. There is one other one. I don't consider it quite as big as Luigi's Balloon World, but there is actually one other mode in this game that was added later. But that's going to be getting its own dedicated video a little bit later down the line. But as for right now, we'll be going over here collecting some more balloons. The icons that appear on the balloons, as you can probably tell, come from Nintendo Switch Online. Not Switch Online. They come from your Nintendo Switch profiles. So those of you with Switch Online profiles... Oh, blah! Words! Switch Online accounts. That is the word I was looking for. Those of you with Switch Online accounts that want to get those special profiles and things like that, now you have a new incentive to go after them. You'll get some pretty nifty ones to be able to brag about during Luigi's Balloon World. And moving on over to the Cat Kingdom, one of my personal favorite spots to hide a balloon is going to be located over here. Now this one seems a little silly because it's not really that difficult to figure out where this one is located at, because you'll have the arrow pointing in the direction of the balloon at the beginning of every game, and the icon will tell you that's pretty close by. I like hiding it here though, because I've noticed that sometimes people will waste their time on this one, because they'll think that it's a bit lower on the platform than it actually is, and they'll miss the fact that it's going to be behind a platform. Because I think if it's timed correctly, by the time the player goes down there, it kind of looks like the platform is outwards, so you don't see the balloon right away. Now, eventually people will pick up on that one, and, you know, it won't be the best hiding spot in the world anymore. But that's kind of like the big mindset with this game in general, is that you'll see a few balloons and things like that that are pretty fun, and you'll notice that a lot of people will hide the balloons in the same spots because one reason or another people don't notice it immediately. But there definitely are some pretty mean locations to hide balloons. This is actually my second attempt at trying to record this mode, because you may notice that my rank is up a bit higher than it should be. I was trying to record this the first time that I had the mode available. That did not go very well at all though, because when I was trying to record that, most of the balloons that I could come across had like some very complicated route to find, because a lot of them nowadays, when you look for them, they require you to get these certain specific coins on a set path and things like that to fill up your timer. It gets really, really annoying. It really is unfortunate, because most of the people who are playing Luigi's Balloon World nowadays are people who've been playing this game for a while and know all the tricks and tips about where the best places to hide balloons are. So it is a little bit difficult to get into this mode nowadays, but I still highly recommend it, because Luigi's Balloon World probably is one of the best parts of this game's post-game, honestly. Now, the real unfortunate thing about Luigi's Balloon World, and I say unfortunate kind of loosely here, is that you don't really get a whole lot of rewards for playing through this mode, because the only thing that you really get rewarded from this is your rank going higher and things like that. And we'll see a chart on screen a little bit later in the video showcasing the requirements for getting all the ranks in this mode. So you don't really get anything beyond that, which I think is probably for the better, because if they locked power moons behind this, that would have definitely been very annoying. But moving on to the next area, we have the Cascade Kingdom. And you may notice that whenever we play this in Balloon World, the day of time changes when we're playing in it too, which is pretty interesting. Now, my personal favorite place to hide a balloon in Balloon World, you'd think it'd be on the ribcage, but that's actually not the case. I like hiding it here because the distance between this and the ribcage isn't very far. So most people will reset a couple times if they miss the ribcage because they think it's there, but now it's on the water below, and it's a little bit hard to see that immediately because of the water. Eventually people come across that, but it's still a pretty fun time anyway. Now, most people I've noticed hiding balloons in the Cascade Kingdom tend to hide them in places that the T-Rex is required to get them to. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to get the T-Rex to the other side in time to get some of the things. I know you get coins and stuff like that for knocking down a few things with the T-Rex in this kingdom, but there are going to be a lot of people who will be hiding the balloons in the places where it takes a little while to get to the T-Rex over there. I'm not very fond of that, but what I am very fond of are balloons like this that are in locations that where you'll look at them and be like, wait, where is that? Why is it pointing this way? And oh, we looked upwards and that's a thing we can climb. I like those ones because they're just pretty fun to collect in general. But going back to the rewards for this mode, yeah, I'm really happy that you don't get power moons out of playing Balloon World because can you imagine how annoying that'd be to have a game where it's mostly single player the entire time, but then they have an online mode and playing that online mode is required for 100% completion? Yeah, I'm not very fond of that. But thankfully this isn't required for 100% completion, although I kind of consider it because whenever I 100% play through this game, I always try to get my rank as high as I possibly can in Luigi's Balloon World before I call it quits for the playthrough and things like that. So that's something that's pretty amusing. And now moving on to the Sand Kingdom. Now, there are some pretty good places to hide balloons in the Sand Kingdom. This is honestly one of my favorite ones to play it in because there are just so many interesting places to hide this one. My personal favorite is going to be located over here in these ruins in this direction because the area over here, people will see it on the map and think that it's definitely going to be in this direction. And one tip of advice I can recommend, if you don't immediately see the balloon, it's likely going to be located in this little... Is this a crevice? Would that be the right word usage? We're going to go with that. They would be located inside that crevice right there, so that's probably going to be one of the better options for that. Now, this is also one of the more mean kingdoms for people to hide balloons in, because there are so many coin routes for this one that are pretty complicated to figure out and things like that. You'll have people like the area where you're going across those floating platforms and you got those pillars that fire those rings of death that destroy the blocks and those give you coins. Having to activate those at a specific time and things like that to get across the area to get to the balloon in time. That one was what plagued the original playthrough, and then a couple other things beyond that, the original recording for this video. So I was like, okay, most of this video is just me screaming about coin routes, so probably best to try redoing this and then maybe do post commentary instead. So that's a bit of a fun time. But as for the Sand Kingdom itself, beyond that, there's still some pretty fun ones to hide here. So because it's such a big open area, you'll oftentimes just see the balloon out in the open. So for ones like this, you want to go down this way and remember to shake the controller or press the Y button or something like that to get to the coins and things like that as you're going down the zip line. Because then we'll be going down here and we'll be able to use the jacksie to get to the next one. I think you can also get this one by using the Glidon, I believe that's what his name was. We'll use the Glidon to fly over there too. That one might be a little bit too slow for this specific one because the time limit is a little bit on the lower end and things like that. This one right here, I gotta say, I felt totally epic getting this one because I misread where the thing was pointing towards at the beginning of the thing. So I thought it was located somewhere else, but no, we eventually figured it out and we were able to get the balloon at the last second. So that was epic and awesome. And yeah, that's not me editing people's profile pictures out of the thing. I don't know what it was, but when I was trying to record this video, the profile icons were just taking a really long time to load in this game. So a lot of them showed up as the general default thing. I'm not a big fan of that, but it's pretty interesting. And I will admit, if there was a character on screen who had a profile for a waifu or something like that, I'd usually go for their balloon. Like if it was a Marina balloon or something like that, yeah, I'd probably go for her. So that's something that's pretty amusing. And now we've got another balloon. And the Wooded Kingdom. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time here, honestly, because I kind of don't like playing the balloon world here. I usually just hide the balloon here to get it over with, but yeah, I'm not very fond of this one because, for one, I get lost in the Wooded Kingdom all the time. I get lost here all the time, so trying to find balloons in this place, not very fond of that. So that's something that's pretty amusing. Also, I like how you can kind of make a somewhat Waluigi emblem with the spinning thingy down there. I think that's pretty amusing. So there are some pretty interesting places to hide the balloons here as well. The one that we'll be seeing for this one right here is pretty cool. So that's kind of neat, I guess. But yeah, more often than not, I'm not very fond of how I'm playing Balloon World in the Wooded Kingdom. But we'll be going down here, and this one kind of tricks you. So we'll be going here, and you want to be careful not to climb too far down, because if you do, then you're going to face certain destruction. Because if you go too far down, or you're not in the right spot or anything like that, then you kind of will over jump the platform right there, which can lead to moments like this, where we were like super close to the platform, and we didn't quite make it. So yeah, that was certainly the most fun time that I've ever had in my life, and I don't think anything in my life will ever top that. No, 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 I don't think anything will. I don't think getting a job promotion, I don't think going on vacations or anything like that, going to Disney World, I don't think getting married or anything like that. None of that will ever top getting this balloon. No, 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 no. And that is what we call sarcasm in this industry. Can Let's Play be considered an industry? I know content creation as a whole can be considered because there's like a huge variety of content creation out there between Let's Plays and video essays and things like that, or just documentaries people put on YouTube and things like that. So like, it's a really interesting thinking about that. Like, can Let's Playing itself be considered an industry? Huh. That's to make me think of that thing that I post every April where there's a picture of me and then a bunch of the channel icons I've made over the years for the art versus artist thing people do on Twitter, wondering if Let's Playing could be considered an art. Personally, I kind of do, because the whole thing with art is that it's about freedom of expression and things like that, and that's kind of one of the big things about Let's Playing for me, is that I can feel like I can be myself when I record these videos. I can just be the big goofball I usually am, so that's something that's pretty amusing. But now we're going over here, and I believe this will be the last balloon we'll be collecting in the Wooded Kingdom. Thank God. And now moving on to the Lake Kingdom. This is one that I kind of have a bit of a mixed opinion on. So there aren't really a whole lot of interesting places to hide a balloon in this kingdom, so I usually don't play this one too often. But I do have a bit of a fond memory with the location that we're going to be hiding this balloon in. So I like hiding it over here, because one of the people on my Switch friends list was like a longtime viewer. They were somebody who used to comment on all my Skyward Sword videos and things like that, and I always remember them fondly because like that was like the first time where somebody was commenting on all my videos for a Let's Play and was like watching alongside them. I think they were also playing the game alongside the Let's Play too, and that was just like a really cool feeling and things like that. So that was pretty cool. But like, that specific room was where they hit a balloon at one point, things like that, so I remember that pretty fondly. And also, the thing about that, though, is that was also kind of like a big eye-opening moment for me playing through this mode, because with that, I didn't even know that room existed. So, finding that balloon and then figuring out how to get into that room, it was really interesting, and then I played through it normally outside of Balloon World, and I realized there was a power moon in there. And then that was like kind of like a big eye-opening moment. It was like, wait a minute, if I'm missing a power moon, I can play Balloon World to figure out where some other spots are in this kingdom. Ooh, this is going to be a lot of fun. And there definitely are other power moons like that throughout this mode too, throughout this game. So yeah, that was something that was a really cool eye-opening moment whenever I was playing through Balloon World. Now my personal favorite place to hide a balloon is located down here. So this one, you need a Cheep Cheep to go down here. So if you ever see one that's pointing in this direction that's really far down, it's going to be one that requires you to use a Cheep Cheep to swim down this large tunnel and things like that. And this one right here, I like how this one's hiding behind the tent, because you don't immediately see it and you wonder if you went the wrong way or something like that. It's a really funny and interesting and things like that. But also, one thing that's pretty amusing too is when you have the regular balloon just hiding down here too. Because if you don't give the person a whole lot of time to find this one, you can make them kind of panic and things like that. Wonder, okay, I need to get this Cheep Cheep from down here as fast as I can. So I need to get through this quick. Oh, wait, it's not that far down. I could have just swam here normally. Oh, no, time's up. I lost coins. No. So that's one pretty amusing thing you can do to kind of trick people. Another amusing one is this one over here. You can use this one to open up this pathway and things like that, so it's pretty cool. This one's kind of obvious though, so it's probably not the most interesting place to hide a balloon. But Well, that is a pretty interesting place to hide a balloon is over here in the Lost Kingdom. Yay! So the Lost Kingdom is one that's pretty amusing. This one right here, I like hiding the balloon over in this area because the platform is going to be raised upwards when the person starts playing through the mode. So they're going to see that the balloon's going to be pointing this direction, and they might wonder if it's going to be in the place where the tropical wigglers are hiding and things like that. So they end up going the wrong way, and then they go that way, and they still don't immediately see the balloon. They're all like, where the heck is this balloon? No! But yeah, that's one of my personal favorite places to hide a balloon, so that's pretty interesting. Now, a lot of the ones you're going to be seeing in this place are either going to be located in places like that. We're going to need to do some, we're going to need to like either grab on a platform or go into a place that requires you to do something else to go inside or something like that. Like this instance right here, we'll need the glide on to fly over to this platform. So that's something that's pretty interesting too. And a couple other noteworthy things about Luigi's Balloon World as well is that you definitely want to try to have a good winning streak going. So if you have a good winning streak going, you'll get more coins that way, and also it is required to be on a winning streak to get some of the higher ranks in the Balloon World as well. So that's another thing that's definitely going to be well worth mentioning. And now for the Metro Kingdom. This one I have a very mixed opinion on. So I love the aesthetic of it, how this is actually a pretty unique location for the Metro Kingdom, because we've only ever seen it in bright daylight or dark and stormy. We've never seen it raining in the middle of the day like this. And this is something that we've also seen a couple times throughout the other locations too. So yeah, this one is entirely unique to Metro Kingdom and Balloon World and things like that. I like hiding at the very top of the... I almost called it the name of a building in my book, but that's kind of a spoiler. It's almost... I like placing her up there because I'm just basic. I like hiding it up there because I think it's cool. Like, it's probably the most obvious place to hide a balloon in this entire game. But I like it. I like hiding it up there because I feel like I get bragging rights or something like that, even though it's super obvious. So as we head down over this way, this is going to be another good place to hide a balloon as well. Now, the reason why I'm not very fond of playing I find it in the Metro Kingdom is because you get so many buildings all over the place, it's kind of impossible to get an idea of where the balloon is located at the beginning. So more often than not, they're going to be located at the top, either in between the buildings or on top of them and things like that, because that's like 90% of this kingdom. So I'm not super fond of that. There are some pretty fun ones to collect, like this one. You'll need to activate the thing without going on the motor scooter, and then do a long jump leaf buffet to get down here. There's also some pretty interesting ones too. I remember one being located on top of the dumpster, that one Power Moon, where it's all like, how do they take out the trash or something like that. So that's pretty interesting. But most of the time, whenever I'm playing through it, it usually requires you to go on top of this building over and over and over again. So trying to get a good winning streak on the Metro Kingdom can kind of be a bit of a nuisance. So we go over here for the next one, and another big one is that the Metro Kingdom actually has a lot of out-of-bounds glitches you can do. I don't know if they've been patched out or anything like that, but there's a lot of out-of-bounds glitches you can do in the Metro Kingdom that we never really went over during the Let's Play, and I don't really plan on going over them over the main series either, over this part of the series, because I don't know how to do most of them, honestly, and I don't know if they've been patched out or anything, but the out-of-bounds buildings and glitches and things like that, that's where a lot of people will tend to hide a balloon in. So I'm not super fond of that because, yeah, people will hide a balloon out of bounds and things like that if they can. And the Snow Kingdom. Joy! This is my least favorite kingdom to play Balloon World because why is it up here? Why is it in the snow? Just why? It would have been so much more interesting to have it in the town with the Chivarians because it's so cute down there, and there are way more interesting places to hide balloons in there, but now, everything here is out in the open. But it's not out in the open because it's in the middle of a blizzard. So it's like, this one just isn't fun. I don't like this one because you're kind of running around blindly and things like that for most of the thing. Now, objectively, you probably could memorize the paths to get to the locations, but the really annoying thing about this one is that a lot of the balloons people will hide require you to use a flurry to move platforms and things like that, I've already complained about the flurries in this game because you can't change their elevation easily and things like that, so I'm not very fond of it. We're not going to be spending a whole lot of time here. But what is a better place to play Balloon World is the Seaside Kingdom. I will say I am a little bummed that it takes place in bright daylight here because this place looks so much prettier during the sunset. And it would have been interesting to see like a more unique location too, like what we did at the Metro Kingdom. But it's not too bad. It's not something that's really that worth complaining about because the daylight does look pretty here too. Now, this area over here, this is another case of I like hiding it here because this is where I found another power moon thanks to Balloon World and things like that. I think it was the same person who hid the balloon in the Lake Kingdom here too. So, yeah, that's something that's pretty amusing and things like that. Now, I love playing Balloon World in the Seaside Kingdom because there are so many fun places you can hide a balloon in this place. You can hide them in the geysers over there. You can, just think of it, just think of how many places you can hide this underwater. Just the amount of places you can hide the balloon in. I apologize if I'm being a bit repetitive with my speech, but I just love it so much. It is really fun playing this mode here. But I also really like it here because you get places like this that kind of trick you as well, because most people are going to be hiding the balloons in the bottom, but then you got people like this who hid the balloon like on the outside of it, and they require you to jump out of the top of the bottle and things like that. It is so cool. It is really fun because even playing this game years later, going back to Balloon World every now and then, people will still like surprise me with some of the more interesting places they'll hide a balloon in. We've heard it several times already, but I just love the little jingle that plays when you win with the Balloon World and things like that. Now that we've gotten a balloon outside of the bottle, now it's time to go inside one. Ooh. Yeah, a lot of people will hide a balloon in here, but I don't care. It's fun going down here. Also, those paintings that we'll see at the bottom of the thing, we will be going over over those in a future episode. Just not right now because I don't feel like it. What have paintings ever done for me? You're also going to be needing these guys to swim across the area quickly too. Because the Seaside Kingdom, while it is pretty big and open and things like that, it is kind of a bit too big to get to a lot of places easily and things like that. So yeah, you're definitely going to need the help of those guys to get around too. You probably could also use those flowers that make you run around quickly, but it's probably a bit more reliable to use these guys rather than those flowers and things like that. Because as long as you're like on the surface of the water, you should be okay because it'll keep refilling as you go across the area. It's really only when you start floating upwards and things like that where you'll start consuming the water pretty quickly. Now this one right here, like that one was a bit of a nerve-wracking one. I really wish I was recording my commentary during that because at that moment, I kind of had a brain fart and like legit forgot which button it was to let go of the ledge. So with that one, I was like kind of freaking out. I was like, wait, which button let go? Which button let's go? Which button let's go? Ah, I'm running out of, oh, we did it, yay! But now moving on to the Luncheon Kingdom. This one is kind of another obvious location too, after you play this mode for a while. So I like hiding it there though, because I noticed that a few folks will think that the balloon is located past the cannon. So they don't really see it coming that it's actually located on the platform and you need to drop out of the lava bubble to get to it, but it's still a pretty amusing one and things like that. Now as for the Luncheon Kingdom itself, this one is a pretty interesting one because it is another big open kingdom like the Sand Kingdom or Seaside, but it also has a lot more verticality to it as well because to get to a lot of places you'll need the lava bubbles and things like that to get around. So even though it is a big open area, you still need to figure out a good route to get to the spots across the place too. So one area will need you to get to a lava bubble and things like that. So eventually you'll pick up on the pattern that, okay, the arrow is pointing over in this direction. We're probably going to need to use this lava bubble to be able to get to that area. And also, it's just really fun in general to just say lava bubble over and over again. Lava bubble, lava bubble, lava bubble. People also not really hide the balloons behind Mario that often either, I've noticed, but there's some pretty good places to hide ones over here too. I remember one of the first balloons that I thought was a pretty interesting place to hide one was over in this area too. So this area over here, after a while you kind of assume that a lot of the people who'll be hiding a balloon will hide the balloon on the platforms that appear when the scarecrow is activated, but also, every now and then they'll hide it in that little ledge right there. I think there's a power moon there, and I think this is how I found out in my first playthrough too. So, if you're playing through this and trying to get through 100% completion and you're missing a few power moons, I definitely recommend trying to play Luigi's Balloon World anyway. Because even if it isn't required to beat the game 100%, it is a good way to help you figure out where you haven't explored in the kingdom yet. Bowser's Kingdom is a big mixed bag for me, honestly. There are some cool places to hide a balloon here, but there's also a couple pretty annoying things about this kingdom too that I kind of just don't really like that much when I'm playing Balloon World. But first off, let's talk about the positives. So we go over this way, and also Bowser's Kingdom is just so pretty. I really wish we spent more time here in the main story, but admittedly I was a bit of a hurry to get through the main story when I was recording it, and we'll talk about why in a future episode. But going back to Balloon World, I love this right here because this one is a pretty fun spot. Most people will think that it's hiding somewhere on that last platform, but what I like about that one is that the balloon blends into the golden Bowser statue. I think that's a pretty fun spot to hide a balloon in. It's just really fun to get up there in general. But here's the problem. Most of the balloons are going to be located behind you. And the really annoying thing is, when you start this minigame, you don't immediately have the option to, like, tap a button and have the camera immediately go behind you. I don't know why that's the case, because I do believe in most of the game that is the thing you can do, but it just really annoys me, because, like, you are always facing this one specific direction, and it's really annoying to manually change it every single time. Now, objectively, you probably could just activate the thing and then keep going. But you gotta turn the camera every single time you start up the new thing to know which way the arrow is pointing at, things like that. Because if it's pointing this area, it's probably gonna be located on this building, it's pointing in that direction, and the arrow is already in the space indication is really high. It's probably gonna be located on some far off island you gotta use the zipline for. It's not a very ideal situation, and I don't want to say it fully ruins playing Balloon World and Bowser's Kingdom, because there are some pretty fun places to hide a balloon in this place, but yeah, it definitely makes it so that whenever I do play Balloon World again, I kind of avoid playing Bowser's Kingdom every now and then. Now, the fun thing about playing the Balloon World in Bowser's Kingdom, though, because a lot of the balloons are going to be located pretty close to you, even though it looks like things are pretty far apart, eventually you'll pick up on a pattern that this arrow means it's likely going to be located in this area and things like that. So this is a good one to play if you need to get back on a winning streak and things like that. I'd recommend this one, and more highly recommend playing through the Sand Kingdom if you want to get a good winning streak going. And now for our final kingdom. The Moon Kingdom is a pretty interesting one because this one has the lower gravity physics, so this one's a lot of fun to just mess around and jump in. It's not a very big place though, so it is a little bit on the unfortunate side that there aren't really a whole lot of good places to hide a balloon here, but it could still be a pretty fun time. One of my personal favorite places to hide a balloon. It's either going to be located here at the Sphinx, because you don't immediately see it because it blends into the Sphinx head, and it's also hiding behind the thing too. So this one could be a pretty fun one to hide a balloon in. It is also pretty fun to hide them near the cathedral as well. We'll be seeing some more balloons located up there in a moment, but that is also a pretty good place to hide a balloon as well, so that's pretty fun. Now, this area here, like, I always just love the fact that we have the option to play Balloon World here, because it's just kind of amusing knowing that the endgame kingdoms, like Bowser's Kingdom and the Moon Kingdom, like, they seem pretty intimidating when you first play through them. Like, especially the Bowser's Kingdom, because when you go into the game, you're kind of expecting that to be the final kingdom. It's all leading up to the final boss. But then with the Moon Kingdom, you get those wedding bells ringing in the distance as you're trying to get through the area quickly to save Peach and things like that. But coming back and then just taking your time and relaxing to play a fun little minigame and things like that, it really is a fun way to really appreciate these kingdoms in a whole different light and things like that. So heading up this way, we're going to be getting some balloons that are going to be hiding around the cathedral and things like that. Now there are some balloons here that I legit don't entirely know how you're supposed to get to. There'll be some people who have found ways to get balloons hiding near the bell. I don't know how you're supposed to be able to get those ones because you don't get a whole lot of time left to get up here. And by the time you get over to the frog, the running speed of the frog isn't really that great to be able to get up there. So, I don't know, there's probably like some fancy coin route or something like that to get through there. But, yeah, it's something that's pretty amusing and things like that. Back up over here near the cathedral, yeah, there's going to be people who will be hiding the balloons either on one side or the other. It's kind of really going to be a matter of kind of figuring it out and kind of guessing which way it's going to be. Now the arrow will change slightly obviously for which direction the things will be located at, but this right here where it's hiding like kind of behind the wall too, that's also a pretty good spot to hide a balloon and things like that. And this one right here, this one just feels epic to go to because this one you're going to need the speedy flower or speediness to get through this place too. So this one's a pretty fun one to collect. This one's also a little bit mean though too, because if you like over jumping and things like that, you kind of like plummet to your doom and the countdown's still going and things like that. So it's that sounds a little morbid, but it's honestly kind of amusing and things like that. Now another good place to hide a balloon would probably be like near the Odyssey itself and things like that, because there is that one cliff that you'll need to do the wall jumps to be able to get to and things like that. So that one will take some time to get to. So that was probably a good spot as well. Now a couple other tricks I recommend, you probably saw this already earlier in the video, but if you go into the camera mode, you can freeze the timer and just kind of look around the area to get a better idea where it's going to be located at and things like that, so that's definitely worth mentioning. But also, throwing your hat will also help you be able to do that too. And now that we've had fun with Luigi's Balloon World, there's a couple more things I'd like to demonstrate before we finish off this video. Hey kiddo, I'm Uncle Amiibo. Pleased to make your acquaintance and all that. Hey, got any Amiibo? If you happen to have some, put them to work. They're good at finding any stray power moons. And here's the kicker, depending on the Amiibo you use, you might get a little bonus costume too. And this is what we'll be ending the video off on. So, alongside Mario Odyssey, some wedding Amiibo will also released for Mario, Peach, and Bowser. So I'll hold the right button on the D-pad. I apparently don't know my directions properly. Let's see, that's Mario Wedding Amiibo. And we get the Mario Wedding Amiibo to look for a power moon. It's going to take about 5 minutes to look, so come back in a bit. If you're into trouble out there, you can tap the Amiibo while pressing the button. Can't promise miracles, but you'll get a little bonus guaranteed. But the real prize is probably my favorite of the costumes you can get from these Amiibo. I'll send the Peach Wedding Amiibo out to look for a power moon. It's gonna take about 5 minutes, so this is kinda out of the blue, but I've got a present for you for introducing me to such a great Amiibo. You wanna try it on? Isn't this amazing? That looks great on you, and hey, don't be a stranger. So, Mario can try on all the tuxedos that he and Bowser wear throughout the game too, but you can also make Mario wear a dress, and this is the greatest thing in the world. So, they also did something similar to this in Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, where Link can also wear a dress in that game too. This is like one of the greatest things in the world, and it just makes me super happy to see this. But my favorite detail about this entire thing is that if we talk to Luigi... Oh, bro, you're getting married? And you didn't tell me?! I love that so much. I love that Luigi is so mad at Mario for not inviting him to a wedding. I love that he carries he's not wearing a dress or anything like that. He's just mad that he wasn't invited to the wedding. That's like the greatest thing in the world. Now there are a couple other costumes that will give Luigi some interesting reactions and things like that too. We'll be talking about them a little bit later in the Let's Play. But as for right now, our rank has gone up. Yay! And to end off the video, these are the current stats that we have for Luigi's Balloon World. It's going to be a little while before we get to the end, but I do hope to get there by the end of the Let's Play. But now we're taking care of all that, we're in this video off here. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of Super Mario Odyssey. In the next video, we're going to go set out to look for Princess Peach once again. And again. And again. It'll make sense in the video. But thank you all so much for watching this video, and until next time, Lady Gator to you. Oh yeah.